Hi, I'm Jonathan.
And Kylene Jones, and we are the Provident Preppers. Storing 3 months worth of everyday foods is a really smart move to make.
Today we're going to show you how to get started.
Today, we have 7 great ideas to help get you started designing your 3-month food supply.
Check it out.
If you're smart, you are going to have a 3-month supply of food in your home.
And we're going to provide you with 7 creative ways to help build this supply. Now, that doesn't mean you have to use any one of these or a combination, but it's some motivation and some ideas to help you on your way.
This video is based off of a post that we did. It's called the Provident Prepper, 3-month supply of food, amazing peace of mind. And it gives you a whole bunch more ideas and great details to help you be able to develop your 3-month supply of food. The first reason why you should develop a 3-month supply of food that you have in your home, everyday foods, is because it saves time and it saves money. One of the ways that it saves time for us is that when I go to the store, I do a lot of shopping. And then I have everything I need. I have my kids' friends used to say, "Mom, you have Walmart downstairs." But I have everything I need. When it's time for dinner, I don't ever have to make those last minute trips to the grocery store. And it saves a lot of money in a few ways. One, I avoid impulse buying. I buy things when they're on sale. So that ketchup, instead of paying $1.50 for the bottle, I wait till it's on sale for a really good price and I get it for 80 cents. When ketchup goes on sale, I purchase enough ketchup to last for the entire year. So I've saved that money because I bought it at a better price. I've saved gas money by avoiding trips to the store, and I save money by avoiding impulse purchases. So it's also a buffer against personal financial crisis. Everybody has some type of crisis in their life. Whether it's a vehicle breaks down or you have unexpected medical bills. One financial crisis that we had in our life was when these 2 little beautiful girls arrived early, and we spent a month in the NICU. And at that time, you saw our family. We have all these big kids, and we had new unexpected financial drains. And yet, it was really cool because during that time, when I was running back and forth to the hospital, I never had to worry about grocery shopping because I had everything that I needed already at home. We could send the kids to the store for milk or, bread or something like that. But the foundation of what we had was there. We didn't have to worry about the drain on our finances because we'd already prepared in advance.
Correct. That's right. Your 3-month supply is an important and critical piece of your hunger insurance. And again, we talk about all the different kinds of insurance that we purchase for important reasons. And, mostly we hope that we never have to cash in on that insurance, especially life insurance. But our hunger insurance is just as important. And our 3-month supply is an important part of that. Please Google the Provident Prepper hunger insurance. Don't get caught without it, for more details and a little more motivation.
And think about it. You're not going to open your pantry and see that it's empty. If you have your 3-month supply, you don't have to worry that suddenly Walmart didn't have any food in it, or that there's some type of a natural disaster or a winter storm and you can't run out to the market. You have your food in your own home. That's where it needs to be. We recognize that authorities will tell you that you need 3 days or 2 weeks supply in your home at the most, and that's not true. A 3-month supply will get you through most of the urgent crises that you have.
Right, and as important as that is, it also buys you time, and that's a critical piece, because in 3 months you can find the ways and means, even if it's creating a garden or some other way, but it buys you time, and that's important. The other thing I wanted to point out here is these pictures are real. Sometimes we think these things just never happen, but these pictures are real, and they can happen again. There are a variety of circumstances that we could find ourselves in where we would be looking at some of these modern day pictures.
Having a 3-month supply of food is a great stress reducer. I loved this picture because they talk about balancing your stresses with coping skills, right? And you need to even those out. And they talk about some coping skills as reading and relaxing and those kinds of things. But my biggest coping skill for stress is having my 3-month supply. You saw the family that I need to feed on a regular basis. They're always hungry and I'm always having to cook with them. Having a good supply of food at home means there's no, what am I going to cook for dinner stress? It's just an amazing, the basketball team shows up at my house and I can feed them within a very short period of time. So it reduces a tremendous amount of stress by always knowing that you have the food that you need in your cupboards.
There are at times crises that arise in our lives, and just having this on hand and ready to go is an important part of being prepared for whatever emergency may rise at whatever time.
Okay, so now you know how important it is, right? We've established that. Now we're going to tell you how to execute this plan and how to get it done. First thing you have to consider is your family. We have a big family. We have a whole bunch of ages. So we need to think about what they prefer to eat, right? The preferences are really important. What are their special needs? There's a little baby there. His needs are very different from those teenagers. Your finances. How are you going to pay for this? And that is a realistic thing. We want you to learn to stay in your budget, and actually developing a 3-month supply of food will help you stay in your budget much better than you think it might. Where are you going to put this all? And what's the amount of time? Do you work full time? Maybe you need to have a 3-month supply of meals that are very quick to prepare, that you can put in the crock pot before you leave in the morning, so that it's done, so that it helps to save you time. So you need to really consider your family and your unique circumstances.
One of the ways you can do this, and this is just one of them, is a 2-week menu plan. And you can create a menu for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 2 weeks. And then it's very easy to then expand that out. 2 weeks of different meals is something that you're not going to get diet fatigue from, because you're just going to rotate those every couple of weeks. And that's a very, very sound way to do this, is just come up with a 2-week menu plan and then expand it out.
And you might, depending on your circumstances, you might choose only to do the menu for breakfast and dinner and not include lunch.
And lunch can be sometimes just leftovers from the meal before or whatever, for those that are needing lunch. So this is very flexible, and we hate to lock you into some plan. This is what you need to do. This should be very flexible and fit to your life.
But if you have the basic ingredients for 14 dinners, you're always going to have something to cook, and that is what this menu is about. The other one is plain old math. Okay, so you don't want to do the menu. Fine. So what you want is to do 30 breakfasts, 30 lunches, and 30 dinners. So does that mean, maybe that means you have 10 boxes of Hamburger Helper, 10 packages of pasta with sauce, and 10 cans of soup for your dinners. And for breakfast, you have 10 boxes of cereal and 10 boxes of instant oatmeal and 10 pancake mixes. Do you see where I'm going with this? You can just make it just that simple, so that you make sure that you have 30s, right? 30 cans of fruit, or 30 cans of vegetables, because you know that every night with dinner you're going to have a can of vegetables. Plain old math. This one is actually probably my favorite, because this does both part math and part menu. Say for breakfast, you're always eating the same thing. Every day before they go to school, they're doing the box of cereal. So you have your 30 boxes of cereal, or however many boxes it takes to feed your family. And then lunch is a very similar way. But then dinner, you have 30 different dinners. Like in this case, it's 30 different crock pot meals. And it's okay to count the meat that you have in your freezer. It makes sense to have shelf-stable meats and canned meats, but this is food that you eat all the time. It doesn't have to be only for when there's a disaster and there's no power. Then you've got all the ingredients for your top menus. You could actually have 30 different ones if you want. You could have 7 that you rotate through over and over again and multiply those out by 4. But it's just a combination. And make sure that it's your favorite things that you love to make on a regular basis. I loved this one. This is my dear friend Betty, and she has this box a week plan. So what she does is she takes all the ingredients for everything she's going to cook for a whole week and puts it into a box. And this ensures that nobody from her family steals any of the ingredients that she's planning on using for that week. So she's got the menu written on the side of the box. At the beginning of the week, she pulls this box out and she puts it all into her pantry. And then she's going to refill the box. But the really cool thing about this is as she uses everything for that week, she realizes the things that she's forgotten. And she'll add it to the side of the box. So she makes sure in the future when she refills this box that every time she fills it, it's perfected. It just gets better and better and better.
Right.
This is another one that I thought was really creative, and it's not actually for the 3-month supply. What this is, it's a 52 meal box. So she has selected the meals that are her family's very, very favorites. She has all the ingredients that she needs once a week to make it for an entire year in those boxes. There's directions and a recipe, so if she's gone, her family can totally make it without her. But it's just a really cool way of having your family favorites, all the ingredients that they need and the ability to cook it. Because this is about favorites, right? Families always eat the same meals. We are creatures of habit.
And especially in a time of crisis, that's what you want to fall back on, is things that you're comfortable with, things that give you peace and comfort.
And are familiar.
Right.
Yeah. Meals in a jar. Chef Tess. She is amazing. Okay, so this is what she's done, and it's a little bit different twist, but she has this book, and what you do is you take quart-sized jars and you put all of the dry shelf-stable ingredients in them to make a meal. So this is one of her recipes, and it's got all shelf-stable ingredients, and she puts them all together in this jar and with the recipe. So whoever's going to make this, all they have to do is follow the directions on the jar, and voila, it's done. This is kind of the basic math one, right? So if she has 30 jars, she knows she has 30 breakfasts or 30 dinner jars. She also has bread, things for different bread. So she might want to have a dinner jar and a bread jar because those two go together. But this is a fantastic way of using longer term ingredients and having something that is just, it's like that whole hamburger helper thing, only healthier. Super easy for anybody to be able to do.
And going back to that previous picture, for us boys, the doilies are optional. You don't have to use the doilies on the jars.
You totally do not need any doilies. In fact, they kind of get in the way except for display. Now, this is our plan. So we have something called a healthy harvest. That's what we call ours. Because we use a combination of long-term food storage, whole grains that we rotate through all the time. We grow a lot of our own food. We preserve a lot of our own food. And so when you look at our pantry, we've got lots of bottled. These are actually something called $1 million pickles that we made. And almost everything in that jar, with the exception, I think, of the sugar and the vinegar, came from our yard. We produce that, and that is really fulfilling for us. But it's not for everybody because it's a lot of hard work. And so we don't expect anybody else to do what we do. But it is another option because you totally can, grow your own foods and use that longer term food storage.
Again, an action plan is very, very important here. We don't want to walk away from this presentation and just let it go. It's important that we move ahead. We encourage you to Google the Provident Prepper Food Storage Action Plan. This provides a template for you to use to get started. You don't have to use it, but it hopefully gives you some ideas for you to create your own action plan so that you take this information and move forward.
So, what's your goal? What's your goal? Now, sometimes starting off with just with 90 days, that can be too much to even think about. So what if you start off and your goal's for 2 weeks and you achieve that? You're able to get your plan and you get your 2-week supply. And then you work to 3 weeks and pat yourself on the back. You've done 3 weeks and move on until you have your 3-month supply. I guarantee you, once you start having a 3-month supply on a regular basis, you won't believe that you ever lived without it, because it simplifies your life in so many ways.
And creates a lot of peace of mind. Just knowing that you're covered, knowing that you have what you need to take care of you and yours in a time of crisis, or just every day.
We want you to create a place to store your food. That's really important with this one. Not so much with the long term, but with short term, you really need some type of a pantry or place where you're able to rotate through this on a regular basis. You don't just tuck this away, you use this food. Next, we want you to budget a little bit extra each month. Just a little bit extra so you can build this up. Stock up when the sales are really good. Make your money go a little bit further. And most importantly,
is to make steady progress. The tortoise won the race because the tortoise made steady progress, although it was slower than maybe even the tortoise wanted, and certainly slower than most of us think is important. But steady progress was made and the race was won, and you can win this same race with slow, steady progress, doing it at the best you can and the pace that you can sustain. Here are some important resources that we think you ought to look at. If you will Google the Provident Prepper, ingenious places to store your emergency food supply. Also the Provident Prepper, long-term food storage, creative solutions to build a critical asset. And also the Provident Prepper food storage, how old is too old. These provide you important guidance and suggestions and hopefully some ideas that help you on your way. We hope that you are motivated now and ready to start building your 3-month supply of food.
You will never regret it.
And now for the question of the day.
What have you learned as you've tried to stock up and store your 3-month supply of food?
Comment below. And thank you for being part of the solution.